Today, let's begin with three imaginary situations. Situation number one. Suppose you are listening to a pre-election speech given by a very powerful political leader. What happens there? The political leader is the speaker and you are the listener, nothing else. Situation number two. Suppose you are watching a television news channel reporting on that particular speech given by the political leader. What happens now? The political leader is not speaking at all. It is the television reporter who is speaking and commenting on the speech given by the political leader. Situation number three. Suppose you are reading an newspaper article, written by, say, some editor or a journalist. So what happens here now? This again is not written by or spoken by that political leader. It is a commentary of the writer. Whereas the first example is a speech, second and third are reports. Try to understand similarities and dissimilarities among these three categories. We will come to discuss this very important issue within a matter of minutes, but before that, please help us. Please subscribe to our channel. Please view our video. Please share it. Please press the bell icon. This is the simplest way you can help us. This is Basic English session number 44. And today we are supposed to discuss narration. Narration is in fact an art of reporting of a speech given by somebody else. Once again, an art of reporting something told by somebody else. Certain areas of English reporting pattern may not agree with the rules of our mother tongues. Hence, an extra care is needed to have some comment over the English rules. Maybe we would require more than 2 sessions on this particular issue, because there are certain, elements like, say, pronouns, then we have numbers, then we have sequence of tenses. These things come jostling together and somehow make the matter a little bit difficult. So we should take care of all these things. But before going to discuss these things thoroughly with many examples, we need to clarify certain technical terms and the basic concept behind the art of narration. So let's start it. Narration or speech. Sometimes this is called narration and sometimes this is called speech. And speech is as good as a sentence. But here, when we speak of narration, actually we mean a group of words coming together and they are grammatically viable as a sentence or maybe a clause also. They may be either written or maybe spoken, whatever, but they must have some sense of meaning. This is very important. So today we are going to discuss just the basic concepts and 1 or 2 examples to clarify that particular concept. There are 2 types of narration or 2 types of speech. One is called direct speech and the other is called indirect speech. We gave an example of a political leader giving a speech When you listen to that particular speech, and the kind of speech he delivers is the direct speech. But when the editors and reporters try to make an article on that, try to make a TV show on that, it becomes indirect speech. Let us be more concrete. Here we have an example. Deepika says, I am busy. Deepika says, I am busy. Try to note certain punctuation marks. Deepika says, there is a comma. And I am busy, this part is within quotation marks. What happens here then? So I am busy, this part is the exact speech that was told by Deepika. So this version, I am busy, it is not spoken by somebody else. It is not, say, invented by somebody else, but this particular words and sentence or clause, whatever it is Deepika's version. In that sense, this part is called direct speech. Since it is Deepika's version, that's why Deepika says, I am busy. Now come to the indirect speech. Deepika says that she is busy. Now Deepika says that she is busy. This entire, sentence is not told by Deepika. Neither this part that she is busy nor this part. Because somebody else is reporting. Here also the same thing. In the first part also, somebody else is reporting and he or she says, Deepika says, I am busy. Now, she or he quotes Deepika's words. Here, somebody else, the same person, does not quote Deepika's version. He tries to make a substance of this part, I am busy, that is, she is busy. Deepika says, say X says, Y says, Radhika says, Monica says that Deepika says she is busy. That means Monica tries to make a substance of what Deepika says. Now we come to another thing. That is, there are two parts. Normally, these, sentences are in fact two clauses. Here we have, my mother says, I am feeling unwell. My mother says, who says this? This part is my mother's version. But since I say my mother says, speaker is me. I am speaking this one. So I say, my mother says, I am feeling unwell. Who is feeling unwell? Of course, my mother is feeling unwell. You see that comma is here and inverted commas are also there. So this part is the version my mother actually uttered. But I am trying to quote my mother. I am not trying to use my own language. I am using my mother's language. That's why I give quotation mark and it becomes direct speech. But there are two parts. One is my mother says, and here I am feeling unwell. So my mother says this part is normally known as reporting speech. And second part, I am feeling unwell, is reported speech. Now, in reporting speech, there is a verb that is called reporting verb. So my mother says, when I say my mother says, there is a verb that is says. This say verb is the reporting verb. And I am feeling unwell, that is reported speech. In fact, in the indirect speech also, this part, my mother says that she is feeling unwell. This is indirect speech. But this part again is called reported speech. So this one, direct speech, and this one is indirect speech. These two speeches together are known as reported speech. Collectively, they are called reported speech. So once again, you try to understand. My mother says, I am feeling unwell. This is direct speech. My mother says, this is the reporting speech. And I am feeling unwell. This part, it's a clause and it is reported speech. And when I say in indirect speech, this becomes, my mother says that she is feeling unwell. My mother says one part, and second part is that she is feeling unwell. This clause is reported speech. So you have 2 or 3 concepts here. One is direct speech, another is indirect speech. Then we have reporting verb or reported speech also. Then we have reporting verb or reporting speech and reported speech. Make things clear, no confusion. So narrator's version is indirect speech, and mother's version, if it is intact there, it becomes direct speech. So narration, direct speech, indirect speech. Reporting verb, we have already discussed reporting verb, and then reported speech, this one, and sequence of tense that will come in detail later. So whenever, if you talk in, there are 2 types of tenses, say past tense and present tense, coming together. In that case, the sequence of tenses comes very handy, and you have to maintain the basic rules of using tenses. So we will see it in our next session. More examples we'll see, so that this part, narration or speech, it becomes easier for you to understand and answer your questions in the examination. So I think you have some basic ideas. Let's see if we can further improve this concept. Well then, thank you very much. Have a nice time.